Well, hello. Welcome. Okay, so today I'm gonna do a hair tutorial. So first things first, let me talk about what I've done to my hair. Not a dang thing. I went to bed last night. Well, I washed it, shampooed it, conditioned it, went to bed, wet, let it dry. This is what it woke up to be. So I didn't even put any products in it. This is just like slept on hair, which a lot of the times is what I'm dealing with in the mornings. And so this is kind of a way to recover that hairdo, but it still looks good. And I've actually had a lot of questions about this tool. So I'm gonna be using this today, which is the Amika. It's like kind of like a 3-barrel. And then I'm gonna use my half inch, not three. This is a 1/2 inch curling iron. And then I also will be using a little bit of my flat iron, just kind of in the beginning to fix this front part. So yeah, let's get started. First things first, if you are new around here, trick to dry shampoo. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is gonna be the best trick for your dry shampoo. Lasting, absorbing oil, all the things. So after the very first day that you wash your hair, so your first wash hair day is when you put in that dry shampoo. Sounds weird, right? Because most people put it in, as the hair starts getting oily. No, you put it in the day you wash your hair and it'll absorb the oil as it starts to get oily. Plus it just helps preserve your style. It'll give you better volume. It's an awesome day. So to get started, I do this in all my videos and it really does make a world of a difference in that front part of the hair. So I'm gonna just take and clip off this front section. And I'm gonna take my comb and my flat iron. You can see it's the tiniest section of hair. And I'm gonna take my flat iron, pulling the hair forward, and legit just, you could see how fast I just passed through that hair right there. So fast, you barely seen me do it, right? I'm gonna take another section, do the same thing, kind of comb it out so it's nice and smooth. And I'm not combining it with this section. I'm doing each little section by section. So again, right at the root, so fast. And as the hair's hot and it's cooling, I'm pulling it forward. Now, you guys have to be so careful with this because these hairs around our face are usually the very most fragile because we work with them the most. They get a lot of hair color processing. So you do have to be very careful and work very fast with these with the flat iron. You don't want to apply too much heat, and if you can't be fast enough, then I would turn your flat iron down to the very lowest setting. Otherwise, you could do some damage to these pieces in a real quick hurry. So again, just section by section, pulling it down, letting it all come forward. And this also, by doing this, this works out like all the kinks from the crazy hair that I slept on. Just pulling it forward. And I'm not like pulling with each section. I'm not pulling the flat iron all the way down to the ends. I'm just doing like the first couple inches of the hair. And that's it. So I went back to, everybody's hair will be a little bit different on this part, but I went back to about the middle of my head. And then I just kind of pull that hair forward until it's completely cooled off. So till the hair feels pretty cool to the touch and not warm anymore. And then I'm gonna take my comb and I'm gonna create my middle part here. Just like so. So see already what a world of a difference that did in my part and in my hairline with just giving it that volume. So that's our first step. So now for me, the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create my part for where I put my halo hair extension, because I have like the thinnest hair ever and I just have to have, in order to have cute hair, I feel like I have to add some bulk to it. So I really enjoy the halo extension, which is this, because it really does 0 damage to the hair. So, and this just sits in the hair like so, like on the head like a halo, but I do have to curl these pieces real quick, which I'll show you. So before I get started with putting the halo in, I am just gonna curl these pieces. Sorry, I'm gonna scoot back a little. When I curl these front pieces, this is important. So I'm gonna pull the hair forward like so, pull it forward, curling iron in, wrap it around. And then these ones, I really do very little time on the curling iron because I don't like these to be super curly. So I pull the hair forward, curling iron's going backwards, and you can see how much of those ends I leave out. I mean, I really don't curl much of those ends at all, but that gives you a nice feathered look here in the front, but doesn't make you look like curly Sue. Now to put the halo in, I'm gonna take that. Now the halo, I get so many questions on where you find these. This halo in particular is a Halo Couture. You have to find a distributor near you because you have to be color matched for them. You have to make sure the match is, you know, proper for your hair. And then you have to order them through a distributor. So I would look up, you could look up the Halo Couture. I'll include that link below, and then you can find a distributor near you to find one, and you can find a hairdresser to hook you up. Okay, so I'm just curling the same thing. I'm taking pretty big pieces here and I'm just curling these, and I really, with the halo, I really don't like them to be too curly at all. And then I'm actually gonna alternate here. So now that I've curled that piece, I'm gonna alternate and I'm gonna use the Amika 3-barrel iron or waver iron, whatever you wanna call this, so that I have alternating textures within that halo so that it's not all the same. If you don't have a halo, and obviously you just have your own natural hair, if you're lucky enough to have beautiful natural hair on your own, I would do that exact same thing with the layer. I would have just taken down another layer of hair, just like I did where the halo was, and I would curl it. So as you can see, I curled around the face, and then so all the hairs that surround my face area, I usually curl them, and then I do the waver. Like I did one section with the waver, and then I basically just curled everything else just on this layer. Now I'm gonna bring down my next layer of hair. And this, oh, Siri's talking to me. So my next layer of hair, whoopsie daisies. I don't know what happened here. And then you're going to proceed with the pattern that I just did again. And if you like volume, which I do, I like big hair. So I'm gonna back comb before I curl it or deep wave it. So I hold that hair straight up and I go in with a fine tooth comb like this one, and I just back comb real tight, just in that inch along the hairline. And then I'm gonna spray it with the Aveda Air Control Hairspray. This hairspray, I talk about it all the time in my videos, is the most phenomenal hairspray ever for keeping your back combing in. It's really super lightweight, so it will not weigh the hair down any, but it just holds that back combing in so much longer and gives the hair nice volume. So I just went all the way around the head, back combed and spray, and then you're gonna let that dry before you apply heat to it. So again, right around the hairline, I'm gonna go ahead and curl that piece. Notice how I'm keeping the curling iron straight up and down. So instead of turning it this way or that way or whatever, I'm basically going right in at the root and keeping the curling iron straight up and down and just feeding that hair through, just like so. Okay, then this whole section I'm gonna curl. Next section, pull that down. And these are, as far as how much hair to pull down, this will a lot depend on your texture and density and thickness of hair, but you can take pretty big sections. Okay, again, same technique, holding the hair straight up, back combing at the root. now we're gonna use the Amika waver. So I'm gonna take the section of hair, starting at the top, clamp it in, and this gets really hot, so you really don't have to leave it for long. You just wanna make sure when using one of these that you line up your waves properly. So when you're going to clamp it, so now I'm gonna do this next section. When you go to clamp it, you just will clamp at the root, hold it there for just a sec, and then move it down until the next wave fits perfectly into the barrel and proceed. And then I don't go all the way to the ends. In fact, sometimes if it's too wavy at the ends, I'll take my flat iron and just kind of give those a little bit of a straighter end. Is gonna be curls. So you probably catch my drift here. So from here on out, I'm just alternating sections on what I do. So this one, I'm gonna curl all the hair, just doing the exact same thing that I've been doing. So again, hairline as close as you can get right here. Curling iron straight up and down, just feeding that hair through. And then the other key thing is leaving a good chunk of those ends out so that it kind of creates more of that flatter ribbon curl. Okay, now I have that top layer down. And again, this hair that's all surrounding my face, I personally prefer to have it curled rather than the wave. So again, I'm just gonna curl this one that comes closer to my face. And then the next one, towards the back, we will deep wave or what Amika 3-barrel curl wave thing. You know, this thing. And this does have a temperature control, which I love too, so be cautious of that. You can turn the... And again, if you have any of those ends that are bugging, kind of frizzy, or just not looking right, straighten them out. And then you just kind of take your fingers and work your hands through it just a little bit. And that is basically it. The last thing that I'm gonna do is add a little bit more product into it. So one of my holy grails, the Aveda Pure Abundance Potion. This is like it's a powder, and when you sprinkle it into your hair, it melts to a liquid, and then it swells the hair by 30%. So it gives you really good texture and volume. And I basically just put this all over through that top section, not through the mid shafts and ends, but just through the top. And this will really, really help create that texture, grip, volume to the hair. That's it. That's all there is to it. But this creates, using the combination of the two tools, really does create such a fun textured curl pattern. It's not uniform, so they don't like all clump together or get weird that way. But yeah, I don't know, kind of a fun look. As I said before, I will link everything in the description below. You could obviously finish it off with like a texture or a texture spray or a hairspray if you want, but sometimes I like to just keep it light, messy, with not a lot of product in it. And it seems to last really good that way too. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.